Russell is one of the greatest healers of all time. He'll do whatever he can to get back as soon as absolutely possible. Emily Kaplan, I turn to you now. What was last night about?
It was about the Seahawks. Russell Wilson has started every game since he was a rookie, 149 straight starts. He has been the Band-Aid that's kept this team together, and now Geno Smith is the Band-Aid, and this defense has allowed 450 yards in 4 straight games. And you have to wonder what this means for Russell Wilson's future if he really wants to be a part of this team if it's another lost season, because we know last offseason there was tension boiling under the surface. And if it is another lost season, I wonder, could this be the inflection point for Russell Wilson and the Seahawks?
You're talking about Band-Aids on a finger. That finger looked like it needs more than a Band-Aid. Woody Page, even if he is the all-time greatest healer, what position are the Seahawks in right now?
I thought Oral Roberts was the greatest healer of all time, not Russell Wilson. But you were talking about that was a leaky defense. Guess what, Tony? Sewage was coming out of that stadium during the fourth quarter. This is the 4th consecutive game the Seahawks have given up over 450 yards to the visiting team. Or to the opponents, I should say. So, I mean, this legion of boom that we saw for years and years has gone away. Legion of foam is what is more like it. Okay. Teams, you have a guy come in, not having thrown a touchdown pass since 2017, leads them to 2 touchdowns.
Now, of course, I wouldn't want to put words in your mouth, Woody, but Legion of Gloom rhymes with Legion of Boom. Maybe that's what you... George Sedano, join us. What did you see last night?
I saw why Russell Wilson may or may not wanted to have been traded this offseason, Tony. Remember all that scuttlebutt about how he wasn't happy with the direction of the team or the offense? Look, we're talking about a new offensive coordinator. They're still trying to figure that part out. But to everyone's point here, the defense is a big problem. In retrospect, we now look at this Jamal Adams situation. As bad as their secondary is trying to cover guys, you brought in a guy, you traded the farm for him, and he's not really a cover guy. He's a thumper. He's an excellent player, but he's not necessarily what you needed. This thing in Seattle is a mess right now. And with Russell Wilson's hand injury, they call it a mallet injury. He's going to, he looked like Ryan Mallett out there when he tried to keep going in this thing. But nonetheless, ultimately, I think the big problem here is Pete Carroll not only is in trouble with his team, but he's also got the wrong healer. Matthew Stafford was the best healer on the field yesterday, not Russell Wilson, because Matthew Stafford also dinged up his hand and was able to throw for 365 yards and get the victory.
Bob Ryan, I'll bring you in here on last night. The headline from last night, is it Wilson's injury or that the Rams got right?
Let's take a 20 here. What is the matter with you people? Why are we wasting time talking about yesterday's news? Yes, Russell Wilson got hurt. I hope he gets healthy. I like him. He's a wonderful player. The Seattle Supersonics have a better chance of going somewhere, and they're not even in town, than the Seahawks do, okay? The Seahawks window closed with the worst coaching decision in the history of the Super Bowl.
Uh-oh.
You know what I'm talking about.
Here we go. All right, here we go.
Recovered. They have never recovered, and they're not going anywhere. The story of the game is whether or not the Rams can build on what they have started. Yes, they got thrashed by the Cardinals, but they can go somewhere. They do have Matthew Stafford. They do have a better team. They do have a chance to be playing in February. The Seahawks do not. Why are you wasting time even worrying about the Seahawks?
Well, when you say it that way, let me ask George. You're in Los Angeles. What did the Rams prove to you last night, if anything?
The Rams proved that even though they're not playing their best ball, they're still one of the dominant teams in the NFL. Matthew Stafford still hasn't necessarily looked great other than that first game. And Sean McVay has actually tailored this thing down from what he had with Jared Goff. With Jared Goff, they were doing all these bells and whistles, play action. Now they're doing more dropbacks than almost any team in the league except for one. That's not the Sean McVay offense we've seen. I still think there's several more gears to the Rams.
Did you see something from L.A. last night that made you think either way?
Yes, I saw a defense, talking about Seattle's defense, I saw a defense from the Rams that's not as good as what they had defensively last year. And offensively, I don't think we've seen the best of the Rams so far. And I'm not thinking that they're really the class of the division either.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.